April 22, 2015, Nigeria's central bank directed all banks, discount houses, and the Asset Management Company of Nigeria to publish what it called delinquent debtors from the 1st of August 2015. The central bank also directed that these lists must be published in at least 3 major newspapers every quarter, that's every 3 months, until such debts are recovered. This directive, which came in April, gave a 3-month grace period to allow for debtors to come up with repayments. That grace period ended at midnight on July 31, and so we saw a lot of the banks start to publish their lists on the first day of August 2015. On Monday, the 3rd of August, at least 9 banks released their own lists. The following day, Tuesday, the 4th day of August, another 4 banks released the lists of debtors. Now, one of those whose name and photograph was published in the newspaper reports Senator Ayo Arise, a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Joining me on the phone now from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Senator Arise.
Thank you very much for having me.
If I was shocked to see your photograph and your name in the newspapers as one of what the CBN calls delinquent debtors, I'm wondering how you felt when you saw that publication. What was your initial reaction?
I was totally shocked. I mean, people called me, I didn't even see the newspaper. Well, because they had called me as early as about 5 a.m.
Yes.
That my name was online and that Punch had published my name and that of my friend,
Yes.
on account of our being directors of international payment devices.
Yes.
And of course, I was more involved. That was just a nominal. So I actually invited him to join
Yes.
the board at the time we registered the company. So he wasn't really sure if it was anything that he even remembered.
Yes.
So when I saw the list and I was told that Unity Bank had listed my name as one of those with toxic loans, I immediately called the managing director of the company as at the time the transaction took place.
Yes.
And of course, I was made aware that there was a transaction between the company and the Unity Bank, whereby the company supplied them ATM machines.
Okay.
And Unity Bank had paid some money up front. And of course, when the equipment arrived in Nigeria, the guy approached them to collect some money for custom clearance, which was 12 million naira. And based on the security of the fact that they were supposed to pay a balance on the transaction of 19 million and 50,000, they extended the facility to him. So the security was cash or in the bank to be paid back to the company. So somehow, it ended up that the bank changed their mind about the model of equipment because they changed their software.
Okay.
And they opted for Wincor. And I understand they traded in those machines to Wincor to change the brand. It was a Triton brand that International Payment Devices supplied them. So now, I think the guy now assumed that he'll be paid his money. So kept on demanding for his own balance. You know, the balance for the company, which was like about, maybe it should have been around 6 million or 7 million, depending on the interest rate they charged on the 12 million naira. So net, the bank had been owing International Payment Devices that money. And it kept on asking, it became very apparent that the bank was not going to pay. And he had assumed, when he brought that to my attention, I said, well, if the bank is owing you money, the minimum they can do is to offset the facility of 12 million naira you had borrowed from them towards clearing of the machines. So now you can begin to demand for
your balance.
In the process, the MD had to leave and the company had to be winded up. I was in the Senate at that time.
Yes.
I wasn't involved in any day-to-day operation of any company. As a matter of fact, I stayed very far away from the companies that were existing before I went to the Senate.
Yes.
And I had managing directors running the companies. I had some little issues similar to that with the transaction, with the way the companies were managed.
Yes.
But this particular one, there was no debt. It was money staying in the bank, 19 million they were owing the company,
Yes.
which they used as security, and they refused to pay. But because the head office was owing the company, and the branch in Broad Street was where they extended the facility to him. And of course, I'm sure he wrote to them severally. He has the files, so but he's currently outside the country. When he comes in,
Yes.
We will take all this right to the court.
So you are seeking legal recourse?
Oh yes, certainly, certainly. It's an embarrassment, and I believe the newspaper just went ahead to publish. People have taken time to protect their name.
You think your photograph was published because the newspapers or the media was looking for prominent people among this list of debtors?
The newspaper published my name and that of Adeyeye because we are politically exposed people, and they wanted to put the name of the senator and that of a past minister on the same debt of 81 million. If transaction was 12 million naira. So the issue of coming up with 81 million, I don't know where that came from. And of course, if anything like that would even say, okay, they were putting interest or compounding interest,
yes,
they should be compounding interest on the money they owe to the company. So eventually, net international agreement prices will still be credit with the bank.
Can you confirm whether or not the banks actually published your names or just the names of the companies?
The bank published the name of the company and now published names of directors in front of it. That's all. So I'm not sure whether the bank I'm not sure the bank would have sent the pictures. There was a decision of bond to sell the newspaper.
Okay.
I think that's what happened.
Okay. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has described this publication as unprofessional, and it's calling on the CBN to examine default use case by case to avoid sweeping generalization. What is your reaction to this?
Yeah, incidentally, when you look at the whole scenario, ordinarily every businessman relies on the banks for funding, for their business. And I take it that yes, once a bank extends facility to you, it's your obligation to pay the bank back. For example, if I've asked the bank that I want to buy a house and I collect money from them,
yes,
it's my duty to find a way of paying that back. And then when the bank do a job and you execute it, and the bank now decide to become like government, that yes, I want to be the chronic debtors for so many companies, construction or whatever. And of course, there is nothing you can do if the government is owing you. You can't carry it on. It's the same thing a bank. When the bank is owing you money and you demand for it,
yes,
what would you do? Would we now continue to waste our time pursuing 6 million naira so that this is what the bank is owing us, discounting the debt that the company owed to the bank? For me, I felt professionally it's totally wrong. And of course, if the central bank has given the permission as a supervising agency to the banks, and they said they can publish the names, sometimes some situations require drastic solutions.
yes,
But as it is now, I don't think this has achieved any sensible result, because I believe those published are people that would among the facilities. In my case, is the typical example that I will give. I think it's been a situation whereby the central bank has not done very well, because they should have looked at every facility that they are publishing, one after the other. How did this man come that OAU? What about the security? Has the security gone bad? Or have you given them the security back? So a situation whereby the cash-to-cash transaction can never be considered a debt. Because I cannot go and publish the name of Unity Bank in the newspaper that they are owing me money. It will even have no point. And I could not be going to court because of 6 million naira. Because the lawyer's fee might even top that. It's a situation that I think the financial institution has been very reckless. And it shows truly, reflects the inefficiency on the part of that bank. Because no sensible person will look at that transaction and call us debtors to the bank. No.
With your strong denial of this accusation and the publication of your name as one of the debtors, do you think perhaps this is an attack on your future political endeavor? What is happening to you now politically?
Oh, no, well, in terms of political endeavor, I really think that it has no impact as far as I'm concerned. I'm not candidate of FCC. I have done no fraud. So, owing a bank, even if we have had a debt, and it's really a debt, then we can say, okay, we are owing a bank. That is not a crime. The only problem is that if I have not gone out to clear my name, it might become a little bit difficult to approach a bank for financial assistance. in terms of running a business.
Yeah.
So that effect I have neutralized by going public to explain what is happened. And of course, there is a difference between yes, you are a director, are you the chief operating officer? And of course, as the chief operating officer, like the business I run now,
Yes.
Photo Games, if I owe any bank, I am the CEO, I'm the chairman, then I am definitely the spokesperson in that instance. If I had known that there was a debt that these people were claiming, I would have gone to speak with them and negotiate. Most people, about 70-80% of the debtors are going to negotiate. And of course, if they publish the names of all the debtors, who will not do business with the bank? For me, I think it was just a very cheap shot. But in terms of political future, I had moved away from the PDP because of the maximum ruler we have in Ekiti, who actually, after all the work we did, felt we should ensure I didn't make the Senate.
Will you be seeking re-election into the Senate again in another 4 years, perhaps, in 2018?
Oh yes, certainly.
Perhaps as governor of Ekiti State?
Yes, certainly I'm eminently qualified. And I believe I do have the followership. If there is any bank today, because I'm sure there are other issues with the international payment device.
Yes.
All the guys, give me the full briefing. Because my error is that I've not really, because I've forgotten about that company completely. So what we will do is you brief me, then we can talk to the bank. If there is any other bank that he owes and he owes them legitimately, I should know about it. But this will not be facilities that I have appended my signature to. No. I think, and if it's anything approved by the board, then that means the board is actually culpable. And I'm sure the issue, if there's any facility with any other bank or international payment devices, I think once I know about it, I will call the bank and I will find out the full details and make sure whatever is outstanding is taken care of one way or the other. This is not the first time we have been paying people. I've had exposures with banks and I've paid all the banks that I owe money. I mean, once we use it for business, we pay back. And that is it. Even in situations where there are problems beyond your control, we still go outside the call of duty and make sure that we protect names dignity. Even the company that was running, I took money from U.S. government supported by my bank. At the point, it took us almost 4 years before we could issue the first card in this country, which was issued through Eco Bank, then followed by First Bank, GTB, and all of them like that. But before we could even start marketing and making any money, the facility had jumped to about 680 million naira.
Wow.
And I paid everything off. When the person is publishing my name for 81 million naira, it's a black place. Because they will call you because we are senators. Even if you want that in this instance, if they had called me or written that, I would have gone to the bank to explain my understanding of this thing, and that this company is not owing. If I'm on the board of any company that is owing, that is really not a crime. It's nothing for anybody to consider a big thing. But once this is the situation that happened, and you are not owing the bank, and the bank had not done due diligence to understand the circumstances, they call it bridging loan. And bridging loan secured by what? They know that the bank was owing that company. So that is the aspect I do not understand, that I believe is quite fraudulent on the part of the bank.
Okay. And since you've confirmed now that you've left the PDP, may I ask if you are in the APC?
Yes, I'm in the APC.
Wow.
It's just that I've not really had time, apart from I actually moved a day before the election, the governorship election and the House of Assembly elections. I looked at the total, the only reason that was keeping me in PDP was Jonathan. And the fact that I could not bear to not show some appreciation to the fact that he gave me, located at one of the federal universities in my hometown, and supported me even against the then governor when the governor wanted the university located somewhere else. So for me, it's not about my personal benefit. This is a benefit to my people, and that is why I'm in politics. If it's about personal benefit, I can tell you up front that I'm one of the senators that came out of the Senate poorer than when I went in there. And my background is business, and I've designed another solution that I think time I'll begin to make legitimate money. And that is one reason why I sleep well every day. I know there is no entity that will ever come in and knock on my door. Not ICPC. So for me, that gives me a level of satisfaction. If I have stolen somebody's money, I mean the government money, and they put my name there that this person is being wanted for corruption, I believe that is enough reason for me to say, oh, I'm covering my face. But if you say I'm owing the bank, if it were a legitimate debt, then I will go in there and explain. Maybe we either go to court or we find out a way of negotiating the payment. But in this instance, that company was not owing the bank. So that is the one that baffled me. In terms of the APC, I've really been a little bit quiet because this is the season of appointment.
Yes.
So if I start making noise as an APC member, people might begin to consider that, we are coming in because of the appointment.
Is there anything wrong with you wanting an appointment under President Buhari?
No. My only concern is that, look, Ekiti has quite a number of big names, and I believe all of them will just there for one position or the other in the APC. I mean, Shegoni, Ni Adeba, Kaudifayemi. These are leaders of the party. I'm just a newcomer. So for me, if I begin to start hustling and start looking for a position, then I might begin to start attracting enemies that I don't need.
No, but Senator Arise, maybe if you start hustling, you might get the endorsement of all the three men that you have mentioned, Onifayemi and Adebayo.
Yes, I am looking at it. If I have to run for government, that would be much easier. The three of them have been governors before.
Yes.
If you now say, okay, it's your turn, you go because you've never done it before, then that would be a different issue. It will not be like all the work they've done, now I'm the one trying to hijack that ministerial or whatever. I look at it that it's better for me to focus on my business at this time.
Yes.
Let things settle. But if something now happens and my name gets mentioned and I get appointed, it's not as if I'm going to turn it down. No. Of course, I was an AG. I had to leave because of the primaries at that time. And for me, I've looked at it. You can be useful to this country in several ways. You don't have to be a minister alone to be a useful person. So I have looked at it. I need to be, at this present time,
yes,
I need to be a little bit quiet. But post all the appointments, then I can begin to speak on behalf of the company and make political statements. Because we have quite a lot of problems going on in this country. That is why I have not really been talking. I'm very proud to work with General Buhari. I mean, for him to go to America and the U.S. president saying he's a man of integrity.
Yes.
I think whatever it takes, that man should protect that name. And it will live with him for life. It's a country that has quite a number of problems. And there's not a single person can resolve the whole problem. But let him do his bit. Let's just move forward. Let's deal with this, confront this issue of corruption headlong, because otherwise we'll have island of extremely wealthy people and we now have a majority of the people living at their poverty. There is nothing wrong in being very wealthy, but provide for everybody. Let the roads be good. Let them have water. Let them have health facilities. We have enough money to get these things done. And if the president is able, and I believe he's committed, the vice president, to ensure that we straighten out all the three arms of government, both the judiciary, the National Assembly, and the executive. It's not only, even the private sector, there's so much corruption there now. And that is because of the corruption that is in government that has now crept into the private sector. So it's something that is a hydra-headed problem. That even when you are trying to resolve one, another one does not begin to raise its head. So it should be something that the president should look at very holistically and address. And it's just by examples. We can never catch all the thieves in this country, all the corrupt people. But let them show example and put some people, let them go to jail for some time, collect some of these monies. After they do the negotiation, put them in jail for about 3 to 6 months. They will not be able to come into any public office. And there will be an example at the lake. It's only murder in the US that you must prove beyond reasonable doubt.
Yes.
But any civil crime like corruption, you don't have beyond reasonable doubt. You only need little evidence. And once it's established, the person should pay for it. And once that is established in our country, we begin to see a reversal. It's not going to be a total reversal. It might take 10 years, it might take 20, but this country can become a haven, for investors. It can be a place that will have so much confidence that every person gets. You might not be able to employ 100%, but the jobless people will reduce significantly. And all we need is to straighten power out so that the manufacturers can begin to come in. With this generator diesel money that we're buying every day, then corruption will never cease, because a person will provide his own water, he will provide his own electricity, you provide your own security, your own police. So when you look for money to pay for all these things, this is the thing fueling corruption.
Yes.
It's not as if there is no corruption in civilized countries, and well, in the more advanced countries, but once you are caught, you pay for it, and they will know it's your greed, because everything has been provided that you need to function in society by the government is functioning.
Yes. We look forward to having you back on the program to share with us perhaps your manifesto when you do decide to start speaking and going forward to seek elective office in Ekiti State.
Well, again, we're looking at the political thing in Ekiti, and I still need to kind of probe the leaders of the party, which I have not done at this point, and I'm not even sure that I want to start earlier than another year or year and a half. Right now, I'm more focused on my business. Once I bring that to a successful level, then I know that I'll be going to politics again, not for the financial benefits, but with the intention to be able to do good for society. Once I have a regular source of income, I should be able to sustain myself, my family, my needs. I don't think I will be going there because of the money. People will know, because we want to be paying what is due to the government. I'm in the military business. I spoke with you about it before. But we're now beginning to get to the level of position of attack. We have connected, and so once people can play this lottery on their telephones, access is granted, and they see that it's a straightforward thing that is very open. It's a way to ensure that you give a little to the public. Those who will never imagine that they could be millionaires, it's an opportunity for them, because it's essentially based on luck, nothing more. The draw machines are not the ones that you can manipulate, and it's done real life. So for us, if that is what we're able to give back and we're able to create millionaires on a daily basis, it will certainly gladden my heart to have made that possible.
Thank you very much, Senator Arise. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much, Angela.